how long it would take to reverse Roe v. Wade with a conservative judge on the courts now?
I think, are you asking me whether I think they will reverse Roe or what the likelihood is of reversing Roe?
The time frame possible.
You know, it's really, that's a very hard question. I don't think it is imminent if it happens. I think the far more, one thing that I think you saw with the Chief's opinion is a general reluctance to change jurisprudence that was only 3 years old at that point in time. I mean, it was only 3 years old, and it had been, you know, in a battleground in every circuit ever since it was decided. Roe is a different, I mean, it's just a kind of a whole different animal of a case, and because Roe partly relied on a line of jurisprudence that dealt with privacy rights, that didn't have anything, they had more to do with contraception than to do with abortion, the court has to kind of grapple with some earlier cases that predate Roe. And I think that makes it very hard. I think it's going to be a long time, but I do think that over that period of time, we are going to see a lot more laws that are upheld, where you know, upholding these laws gives a much better opportunity for us to see that there is that there's not a disastrous effect, and it puts a lot of power back in the hands of legislatures. I think that is an important thing too. We don't have to all be the same state. The states don't have to have the same policies. I think it will be, I mean, if you're asking me to put in a date, I think it's still potentially 10 years away. I think there will be movement. I mean, that doesn't mean that there wouldn't be a lot of movement in that time. I think there'll be dramatic movement in that time. But you know, one of the statements in, I think it was Hellerstedt, I've seen this in advertisements too, opposing the reversal of Roe, and it's ever since President Trump was elected, there have been a lot of panel discussions and other discussions. Every time he gets to appoint a Supreme Court justice, there are a lot of discussions about, you know, what does life look like post-Roe? And what life looks like post-Roe is that states get to legislate. That's what life looks like. And so you will see some states like New York who basically have taken their hands completely off the wheel and said, we're not going to regulate this at all the way even up to birth. We're not going to regulate it. And Virginia. And then you see states like ours, which are very pro-life and very aggressively attempting to protect and show their respect for the value of life and recognize that the fetus is a person. So you will see that, I think, continue to occur. You will see a battleground in state Supreme Court races. And 3 years ago, I sat on a panel at Americans United for Life with a bunch of very, very impressive women, doctors, several doctors and professors who write in this area. And you know, somebody asked me the same question, and that was the whole topic: what is the post-Roe world? And I said, a post-Roe world looks like a lot of big battlegrounds in state Supreme Court races, because they already 13 states right now have recognized a state right to obtain an abortion, just since like little row decisions. And that's what Amendment 1 is about on the ballot now. It is a ballot amendment to make sure that our Constitution has some express language in it that says that nothing in this document should be read to find a right to abortion or a right to funding for abortion. And so it doesn't take power away from the legislature, but it does direct judges not to, and prohibit judges basically from finding that right in the state constitution. And that's because 13 states, Supreme Courts have already done that. I posted something on Facebook just about a week ago, maybe, after I read a letter to the editor that I thought was just flatly wrong. And usually on Facebook, I post pictures of my children and puppies and flowers. You know, so I don't put a lot of political stuff on Facebook, but But that particular letter really kind of got under my skin, so I put a, let's get this straight post on Facebook to say this is really what Amendment 1 does, and I certainly think that we should vote for it, and I'll be voting for it.